This lesson is solving one-step equations, division, the shortcut. So we have one-step equations that have division in them, but we need to solve for the variable. What's the shortcut for doing that? Please put the date on your paper. Number 1, first problem, m divided by 4 equals -1. We're going to draw the train tracks. In my other video, I explained that we need to put a 1 in front of the m so that we have our fraction 1/4 m. And then we need to multiply by the reciprocal. We need to flip that fraction over and multiply by 4/1. We're not going to do that long version. What I'm going to do is just show you the shortcut in this video. The shortcut in the for solving these kinds of problems is to do the opposite of the division. So we need to know what the opposite of division is. The opposite of division is multiplication. If you see in the problem the variable divided by 4, then you have to ask yourself, what is the opposite of dividing by 4? The opposite of dividing by 4 is multiplying times 4. So we just multiply times 4 on this side and on this side. That's how we're going to solve it. We do the opposite of the division. Instead of doing all of the math, the shortcut is to just know, we already know from the long way of doing it, that when we multiply like this, if we're dividing by 4 and then we multiply by 4, those cancel each other out and we end up with 1m by itself. And on the other side, you have to do the multiplication. -1 times +4 equals -4. And so you're left with your answer that way. You can check to see if it's true, because if you've got the original equation, m over 4 equals -1, we can check to see if m really is -4. If n is -4, then -4 divided by 4 should equal -1. -4 divided by a +4 does equal -1. Yeah, so it works. It does check out. Let's do one more problem here. Number 2, 12 equals w over 4. All right, so we have we've got a divide by 4 again, and just like the first problem, we have to ask ourselves, what's the opposite of divide by 4? The opposite of divide by 4 is multiply by 4, so we just multiply times 4 on both sides. When you have a divide by 4 and a multiply by 4, they cancel each other out. So all you're left with is that 1w, which is what you want, because you want to know what 1w equals. 4 times 12 is 48, so 48 equals w. W is the same thing as 48. And you can check it because the original problem was w over 4 equals 12. And if we put 48 in for w, 48 right here, 48 divided by 4 does equal 12. Yeah, that works. It checks. Maybe we should do one more problem real quick. Number 3. Let's do let's do y divided by 5 equals 65. Okay, y divided by 5 equals 65. So what I want you to do is I want you to try this problem. See if you can think of what is the opposite of divide by 5. Go ahead and figure it out, answer it on your paper while you have the video paused, and then start the video again once you're done. Okay, go ahead. All right, so what I hope you did was you asked yourself, if we have y divided by 5, what's the opposite of divide by 5? The opposite of divide by 5 is multiply times 5. So we multiply times 5 here, and multiply times 5 here, and then we cancel those 5s out because they're opposite operations. So then we have y equals, wow, 65 times 5. I don't know what that is. 65 times 5, that's 25. And then 5 times 6 is 30, plus 2 is 32. So 325. Y equals 325.